for every game in which he has been physically able to play. And well, the numbers are not all that imposing. Only a 130 batting average, and the 2 home runs that he has hit have come off the same Cubs pitcher, Greg Maddux. Third base umpire Bob Davidson could not really decide what the proper hand signal should be.
He didn't properly decide which way to go. And I tell you, I'd like to see it again if it's at all possible, because from right up here, I know why John McEnroe hollers about the line. Boy,
I'll tell you,
now that's good camera work there. And no argument from Billy DeMar, who's standing just only a few feet from that. We would have lost the point.
Yeah.
We got an umpire's warning. We got a code of conduct.
Circling the wagons here.
Yes, indeed. That was good camera work right there.
1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 1 on. Following Nick Esaski will be Davey Concepcion, as Davey continues to fill in for Ron Oster. As Johnny mentioned earlier, we certainly extend our condolences and our sympathies to the Oster family for the passing of Ron's dad, Howard, yesterday. Funeral services to be held tomorrow morning. Ball 3. Kipper certainly cannot afford to consistently pitch this way, but we saw basically the same from Pat Basillo in the bottom half of the first inning. Three and 1 the count with Bell at first. And now it's full on that big swing.
With the strikeout man at the plate, it's questionable whether Pete will try to send Buddy in this situation. Buddy does not run well, but you've got to depend on contact. And it might be a thing to do, is if he knows that he's running, he may work harder at making contact.
He's going, and that's another walk.
You know, a hit and run sometimes gets a guy out of a situation. Gives him a chance to go up there and make contact knowing he has to, and he really concentrates on hitting the ball. And it always helped me, and Sparky knew, and I would even go back to the dugout and say, Spark, if he gets on, let me hit and run. It was very important to concentrate. And there you saw the face of Jim Leland, manager.
So a walk to Bell to begin the inning, a 1-out walk to Nick Esaski, and here's Concepcion, and they're going to start the runners, and there it is, base hit. Buddy will come in to score the tiebreaker as Esaski goes on to third base, and Davey, with all the years of Major League Baseball under his belt, still hits those left-handers extremely well.
Really does. And you know, it's the same thing we just talked about. Sometimes you want to go back to the manager and say, let it run him on the first pitch, and that's a bad pitch out of the strike zone. It's a good pitch for Davey to go the other way, because he likes the ball out over the plate. He'll fight the ball inside out to right field. But there you see the veteran of, well, many years, 17 I guess now, coming up, and he'll be 39 years old next month. That's right, Davey. You're 39 years old, because you're going to be the same age as me, and I don't have to listen to you, no.
The captain has just knocked in his 10th run of the season. Esaski, the lead runner, at third. And here's Pat Basillo, and Pat comes to the big leagues with a reputation of being a pretty good hitter, and there's a good reason for that. In his All-American career at Seton Hall University, he divided his time between pitching and playing the outfield, and had some very impressive collegiate numbers at the plate. So let's see how this young man swings the bat if they let him hit away.
Marty, was that, oh, that's a 10th RBI. You said that. The newspaper this morning in Cincinnati had him only down at 8. I'm glad he picked up 2 for that one.
First and third, 1 out. The Reds have taken the lead for the second time tonight. And that won't quite get it done. Coming into play at Barry Bonds, Nick starts down the line, and there's a throw to Mike LaValliere.
Well, he does have some pop, and of course that man right there has a pretty good arm, and if he has any kind of his genes of his father in there, he has everything, because his father could flat play. And there you see Nick Osaski and Jim Morrison, Billy DeMar, and David Concepcion with Tony Perez, almost like a father to David Concepcion. And I saw Pasillo during batting practice. He was hitting them off that Gulf oil thing out there.
Well, Tracy Jones back for an encore. He had a broken bat flare into shallow left center to lead off the ball game, and then was thrown out stealing. Reds have collected 3 hits off of Bob Kipper inside the first couple of innings, and hope they're not finished yet here in the second.
Watch the first pitch.
Ooh.
So he went up there the first time, very patient. And I know he likes to sit on the first pitch a lot, and that's a situation where you got to pitch your time. You go up there, you look for one pitch, and you let it all go. And if that ball had been a little bit lower in the strike zone, we may have been a 5-1 ball game.
On the other side of the coin, though, Johnny, that pitcher out there has to know, or at least somebody has to tell him when they go over the hitters, hey, this guy is a notorious first ball hitter.
Yeah, but you lull them to sleep. If they just gave up a base hit and got a run, they're in a situation, sometimes they're blank to who that hitter is coming up there. And that's the way a catcher has to sometimes go out there.
2 balls and 1 strike. Tracy was a little bit put out by manager Pete Rose's comments following the 4-1 loss to the Chicago Cubs on Wednesday night, feeling like Pete had singled him out for special criticism en route to an 0-for-5 ball game, and his inability to move a runner over in a scoring situation after a Terry Francona double in that ball game in the 7th inning when Jones ultimately bounced out to 3rd. But again, a very upbeat, keyed up young man who wants to play and would like to be in the lineup every day, and sometimes he vents his frustrations verbally. And the bases are loaded.
Well, I don't think that the paper is necessarily a place to blast someone. I mean, to put somebody down for not doing something. That can be done on the bench, and that can be done after the game as well. And it would be the Larry Bowa syndrome if it got to that situation.
No, but as Pete pointed out, and he did it accurately, in the article that was written after the game the next morning, Tracy Jones was not the only one that he singled out for criticism.
Well, I don't think still that you always have to do it in the paper.
You don't always have to do it. That leaves some element or some area where you can.
Well, certainly if you've gone it over a long period of time, if you're going to find a guy that really is working as hard as Tracy Jones does, and he's going to take it very personally when he hears that. And so a lot of people who feel like they're playing. You see Ray Miller out there talking to Kipper, and there's Mike LaValliere, Pittsburgh bullpen. Well, they're starting to get hot too. There you see Bob Walk on the right-hand side.
And the other right-hander is Brian Fisher. So we might see Brian Fisher sooner than Jimmy Leland had planned on bringing him in.
Yeah, I think that probably he might run Walk out there for a hitter if he had to, and let Fisher get ready for the next inning if he got down to that situation.
So Bob Kipper in a jam of his own doing. He has already walked 3 batters in the inning, and Barry Larkin, 0-for-1, popped up in the first inning to shortstop Belliard, trying to do some big-time damage. Lead 3-1 as Osaski scores. Concepcion and Jones advance.
Marty, getting back to the criticism a little bit, I would like to say that this is still a young ball club. I mean, these are guys that are still learning, and I think that sometimes a patience has to be given, and I think that he will. I think that there's no question that he has up to this point. You see Jimmy Leland he cannot go back out there now that the pitching coach has been out there, but I would like to think that this young ball club will make mistakes and not always get people over in situations that you would like for them to.
Charge Bob Kipper with a wild pitch that allowed Osaski to score, and I'm sure that Jimmy Leland doesn't relish the thought of Bob Kipper or anyone else having to face Eric Davis with the bases loaded. So this is a big hitter here, Barry Larkin, and that may well be playable by Jim Morrison. And that ends the inning. So Barry Larkin continues to struggle badly at the plate. In the inning, the Reds get 2 runs on only 1 hit. 2 men left on, and through 1.5, the Reds lead it 3-1. Well, Eric Davis's first inning home run gave Pat Pasillo a 1-0 lead. Andy Van Slyke tied it up in the bottom of the first, and now the Reds have again presented the rookie right-hander with a lead, this time numbering 2. 3-1 Cincinnati as Jim Morrison squares off against Pasillo in the home 2nd inning. veterans on this Pirate club, and based on what he accomplished in 1986, one of the good ones. 269 right now with 5 home runs. Eric Davis on his horse. And Morrison will not test a good arm, and Eric made a heck of a play on that ball.
Well, he really did, and you almost had thoughts of him in St. Louis going across towards his right, towards left center again, and that was the dive. And I'm sure he had that in his mind, but he really didn't have much of a chance to catch this ball, but that is a great short hop. And, of course, if you see the size of Eric's glove out there, he could block probably a bushel basket of baseballs. He has just got a Cessna out there, and that's a heck of a play. That really is on a dead run. And had Morrison been able to pick it up, he may have gone ahead and broke, but Eric started coming right at him, which made him think that he had the ball.
Second hit for the Pittsburgh Pirates, and settling in now, left fielder R.J. Reynolds. Ball 1. Reds begin play tonight 1 game behind the San Francisco Giants. They are at home at Candlestick later on this evening against the Montreal Expos. 2 5-game winners in that game. Left-hander Neil Heaton and former Reds right-hander Mike Lacasse.
Buffy just keeps going out there, doesn't he?
I'm telling you.
And they took him out of the rotation twice now, and away some of the other pitchers, and I guess they've received some of Roger Craig's dander too.
Speaking of pitching, can anybody go any worse physically than the New York Mets? They lose David Cone. They lose Rick Aguilera. Cone probably for the rest of a couple of months, and the Aguilera, they say, somewhere between 14 and 21 days with an elbow problem, and that might be optimistic.
Very optimistic when they start talking about the ligaments. I believe it was in his elbow. That really is questionable. Well, you know, that's why it's so tough to repeat, but you can't imagine any one team having that much problem with such a great staff.
Absolutely not. 2 balls and a strike. There's rumor now that they're trying to deal for Storm Davis from the San Diego Padres, who's been a major disappointment with that club.
I think they probably could do it too.
Oh yeah.
Trader Jack McKeon has got his holsters on. He's ready to shoot it from his hip.
He's probably frustrated as heck right now that he hasn't made a deal in the last week or so. Basillo, strike 2 call to Reynolds, and R.J. You saw it. He wasn't real happy with Harry Wendelstedt's call on that pitch.
Won't do him any good either, I'll tell you that. You don't want to argue with Harry too much. If Harry says it was a strike, it was a strike, and you're not going to change it. The only thing you can do is get him upset, and the next pitch may be 2 inches outside, and it's going to be right there on a good look by Harry. Just depends on how nice you were to him, and that doesn't mean you can bribe him.
2-2 and holding. Got a look a moment ago at the on-deck hitter, Mike LaValliere, youngster that Johnny Bench was talking about earlier, and he and Harry Wendelstedt would make an excellent pair of match bookends. Check LaValliere out.
Well, he really is set back catching many years. I told him that at the cage, because he's about 5'9". I mean, that may be stretching. He's a funny little character. I tell you, he was talking about maybe going deep, and Leland said, well, why don't you try it in a game? You know, not just batting practice. He said, well, I was just trying batting practice. I want to start, you know, first things first. This, I tell you, he is something. And, of course, you saw the great throw, and that's why he's got a 53% success ratio. And the biggest problem we've had is trying to pronounce his name. Last year, I did a radio game, and I could not say LaValliere. I mean, you wanted to say everything else but LaValliere.
Runner going. Stolen base for Jim Morrison, his 6th of the year.
Well, he got a good jump off Pat. I don't think Pat felt like he would be running in that situation up there. Davey made a heck of a catch and attempted tag to go back across the bag, but the ball, had it been on the second base side or the first base side of the bag, might have had a shot at him.
Well, the Pirates trying to get a run closer with a runner at second, nobody out. And here's ball 4 to Reynolds, so the first 2 have reached in the second. And third baseman Buddy Bell calls timeout with umpire Bob Davidson. He's going to go into the mound to visit with Pat Basillo.
Jimmy Leland not afraid to run his ball club. They've been successful 22 out of 25 times of late. here's a young man hitting .319, and Buddy wants him to make aware of the fact that if the bunt is on, and Rafael Belliard and then Bob Kipper would be behind him. No one is warming up in the bullpen. And there you see exactly what they're talking about. LaValliere up at the plate, and Leland liking to play hardball.
You've got Rafael Belliard on deck. The 8th hitter, followed by pitcher Bob Kipper. And I guess the thing, obviously, that manager Jimmy Leland's concerned about now, Johnny, if he's going to have LaValliere bunting all the way, is the concern that he might hit into a double play.
Well, that, and also maybe just trying to get one run. I mean, he's feeling like the Belliard will not hit into a double play with his speed, able to chop one, only hitting .214. I'm surprised a little bit that he's not trying to extend this inning. But at the same time, he feels a run is important for his ball club right now.
Now let's see if he hits him away. He showed no signs of bunting that time. 1-1.
That ball upstairs, a breaking ball that didn't get down. He walked R.J. Reynolds on a high fastball that was up in the strike zone. And we know right now that you cannot pitch upstairs. Not up here anyway. Maybe in Nashville to a certain extent, but you got to force yourself to get on top.
He went.
Reminds me a little bit of Milt Wilcox with so much arms and legs. He's flying through there, and you can see right there that Mike LaValliere really had a lot of problem picking that breaking ball up. He really committed himself. He looked like he was sitting on the fastball. And now he's going to have to take a different approach. And of course, that always happens, as you talked about, when you get ahead.
Runners at first and second. Nobody out in the second inning with the Reds in front 3-1. Guy continues to swing the bat for the Pittsburgh Pirates. And now they elect Gene Lamont, the third base coach, elects not to try and send Morrison, so the bases are loaded. Of course, that ball got to Eric Davis in a hurry, and he was charging it all the way.
Well, the toughest job in baseball sometimes belongs to the third base coach. And there's LaValliere, and it was interesting sitting down on the bench, and they talked about him taking batting practice. There's another hit for him. There's another hit for him. I mean, they're really talking about him like he's Merlin the Magician of getting the base hits. And now the base is loaded. I was kind of surprised they did not send Morrison. He was off as soon as the ball was hit. The ball, well, hit fairly quickly, but when this AstroTurf gets out there. But at any rate, a break for us. And Scotty's asking Pat exactly what he has in mind. And I guess he's satisfied. Ball hit back to the pitcher, Bo is telling him. He comes home. And, of course, Buddy has the option, depending on where the ball is played, whether it would make the play at home or whether it would try to turn it at second with Davey. And even though Davey has good hands and has been working out at second base, it's still an adjustment to make that turn, make that double play turn, and have your blind side to the runner coming down from first base.
You saw Rafael Belliard meet with Gene Lamont, and in case you're wondering, right now it's all quiet down in the Reds bullpen. Belliard, as Johnny mentioned, batting only .214. He's homered once this season. He's got 8 runs batted in. And the Pirates with a big opportunity now as they trail by 2. Have taken the stance on Rafael Belliard. They really don't care how much he hits because his defense has been so exemplary this season. They will take the short bat in order to maintain the good defense. Wise decision by Pat Pasillo. I thought he was going to pick that ball up for a moment.
I think it would have hopped a little better for him if he'd have been waist high and had gotten to that point. But either Bo told him to let it go, or he had to decide on his own. He could have had help from Buddy as well. But now, as we mentioned before, there was not anybody down in the bullpen. Now there is.
Left-hander Guy Hoffman. When Morrison singled, he stole second. Reynolds walked. LaValliere singled. Pasillo still looking for an out. And another hit. One run will score, and the bases remain loaded.
One base at a time. Belliard only struck out twice, so he's a contact hitter in 112 at-bats. I'm going to take that back. He struck out 16 times, but he hit that right off the fist and basically in the same direction as LaValliere. Jimmy Leland has these guys going right up the middle, and Milt May, their batting coach here, is telling them to make contact and we may get runs, and hopefully you might not see this man make too good a contact.
3-2 ball game. Pitcher Bob Kipper up there now, still nobody out, and he is, you don't take him lightly. 6 hits and 15 times up so far this season for Kipper. 2 doubles. For a guy who formerly was in the American League, he's made the adjustment very, very quickly in only a little over a year to the National League way of playing the game. 0-2. Two young pitchers, Pat Fusillo and Bob Kipper, and having problems in the early innings. There's a first out, and the first strikeout for Fusillo.
Well, they didn't fool around and got ahead of him, got the slider over, and then just kept going with sliders. And now with a 3-2 lead, tough task of facing Barry Bonds.
Yeah, things get a little bit tougher now. Bonds 0 for 1, fly to center in the first inning.
You can see that jersey. Pat's just soaked through. Hot and humid night, and of course just warming up. I'm sure it was like that. Seeing working on that gum, and the base-loaded situation always creates a little more intensity.
0-2. So Fusillo finding that control in a hurry after striking out pitcher Bob Kipper, and jumps in front quickly against Barry Bonds. You look at the runners on the bases. Reynolds third, LaValliere second, Belliard at first, and Barry Bonds the batter. Outstanding collegiate player at Arizona State University. He is one young man who has started out following in his dad's footsteps very, very well. That's going to get 2 runs or only 1. It's a tie ball game, and again Gene Lamont holds a runner up at third. So they are singling Pat Fusillo to death. And here comes Pete Rose out of the dugout, and that's going to herald the end of the evening for Pat Fusillo. His second time around against the Pirates. And simply did not have it tonight. So Fusillo will leave, and left-hander Guy Hoffman will come on to a tie ball game with the bases loaded and still only 1 man out. Fusillo leaving and Guy Hoffman entering stage left. We've got a break in the action. We'll be back right after this.
Reds and the Pirates are all tied up at 3 here. We're only in the bottom of the second innings. Guy Hoffman on the mound in relief of Pat Fusillo. Hoffman with a 1-1 record, 2.78 ERA, and well, this is his 12th appearance, and he has started 2 ball games. So this is the 10th time in relief. No saves to his credit, and Pat Fusillo leaves. giving up a total of 5 hits. 4 singles here in the second inning go with a base on ball. And well, only 1 out in the inning. So Hoffman will come in to face Van Slyke, and that will turn Johnny Ray around to the other side of the plate, and then Sid Bream, another left-hander. So Pete going with the percentages here, and we're lucky it's not more than what it is right now, because they've had base hits with runners at second base 3 in a row, and they've only been able to score 2 runs. So maybe the speed of it, and maybe the respect of Eric Davis's arm, and maybe just a little bit too cautious on Gene Lamont's part at third base.
Andy Van Slyke hit a long home run in the first inning to, at that time, tie the game up at 1-1. He now settles in with 2 runs in, the bases remaining loaded, and the Pirates coming back for the second time in as many innings to get even. This is with a curveball.
That's when you have to know if a hitter is a first ball hitter or not, Marty, to start him off with a breaking ball. Especially, the thing you don't want to do is get behind in that situation. If he is a dead first ball fastball hitter, then you might have to throw the breaking ball.
2 balls and no strike.
Van Slyke has always been a guy, really, that is very patient at the plate. And went right back to the breaking ball, and now you find yourself in the hole 2-0. And you find yourself in a situation like that, now it's almost imperative you have to come in with a strike, and more often than not, it will be the fastball. And the guy who already is swinging a hot bat in particular in this game is going to sit there and look fastball and try to pick up 4 quick RBIs. That's faith in the breaking ball there.
Yes, sir. I'm telling you, boy, in this situation, to be able to throw that behind 2-0, you got a lot of faith.
Well, that's what keeps you in the big leagues, being able to get all your pitches over in any count, any time in the count. But boy, if you miss 3-0 and you come in relief and walk the first man, they don't call on you that much more.
Even at 2-2.
That ball looked like a changeup there.
He hasn't thrown Van Slyke a fastball yet, has he?
I would say right now that the scouting report is not to throw him too many fastballs.
Well, that's the problem that Pat Basillo got involved in the first inning when he pitched behind and had to throw that 3-2 fastball. And the count full now on Van Slyke. Likes what he sees from Bo Diaz. And the Pirates lead 4-3.
Well, he's saying the ball is not outside, and the ball is outside. Big breaker. I mean, you know, he may have caught the front edge of that plate, but I'll tell you what, 3-2, you can't make it that perfect of a pitch and expect to get it.
Now a solid contact hitter in Johnny Ray. Mentioned in the first inning, he hits 20 points higher against left-handed pitching than he does against right-handers.
I think there were only 2 pitchers last year that struck him out twice in a game. And that man right there could care less.
He sure could. 0-2. We'll pause 5 seconds for station identification on the Cincinnati Reds television network. Pirates enjoying a big second. They've scored 3 times to lead by a run and only 1 man out. And Johnny Ray hanging in with a holding 2-strike count on him. Rafael Belliard at third base. Barry Bonds leading at second, and over at first, the man who just got the walk that broke the tie, Andy Van Slyke. Hoffman has been the most little used of all the pitchers down in the bullpen. John pointed out he's made 11 appearances, and of those 11, 9 have been in relief. You compare that with the 23 of Murphy as you look at the guys who got a lot of work. 25 appearances for Robinson, 25 for Williams. John Franco, the hammer out of the bullpen, he's appeared already in 17 games. And that's all of those guys, plus Tom Browning, who, of course, is being passed over a start in the hope that he can get his act together. A rare strikeout and a big punch out for Guy Hoffman as Ray heads back to the dugout. And as we talked about, he doesn't do that very often.
Well, a good breaking ball, and he's shown the good breaking ball. He just hadn't shown it right on the plate. There's a pitch that he was about 4 inches different when he walked Van Slyke. Had he got it in that same place there, he would have possibly had another strikeout of Van Slyke, but a good strikeout there, and now the left-handed hitting Bream.
So the percentages go back in favor of Guy Hoffman. Bream a ground out to first in the opening inning against Pat Basillo. Pirates announced a trade today. They made a deal with the New York Mets, sending veteran utility man Billy Allman to New York in exchange for the contracts of infielder Al Pedrique and minor league outfielder Scott Little. Pedrique is here tonight and in uniform, along with a youngster they called up, a pitcher out of their system, Dave Johnson. They sent out a right-hander, Logan Easley, who pitched very well against the Reds last weekend. There's one of the two new ones. That's Pedrique, infielder who could play second, short, third. So they swapped one veteran for one youngster, and basically they both play the same position and perform the same role. Strike two call.
Just a lateral move for both ball clubs, really, and Jim Leland thought that there wasn't a lot of difference except for the age. Billy Allman, 34, and of course Pedrique, 26, and he just felt like that, you know, that it was a good move for their ball club just to continue to get youth infiltrated into their lineup.
2-2. Pirates leading 4-3 as Sid Bream, the ninth man to bat in the inning. Runners leading at every base. Hoffman has walked in a batter. He has struck out a batter. Shakes Bo Diaz off and gets ready for that 2-2 pitch. Fella might as well have stayed home tonight. That's the best he can do in a game that has already seen 7 runs cross the plate. He's a Pirate fan in hat only. Wow. Three and two.
This is like work, Marty. This is like work.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you. This has been a long 2 innings. Even longer for the pitchers.
Going. And a strikeout. That's all for Pittsburgh. But they get the lead for the first time tonight. 3 runs, 4 hits, 3 men left on, and at the end of 2, the Pirates 4 and the Reds 3. Reds trail for the first time tonight, and we're only in the 3rd inning of a 4-3 ball game. Eric Davis, who took Bob Kipper out of here in the 1st inning with a home run to left, is 18th, leading it off. Kipper's had his own special problems in the first couple of innings, although after the Reds scored twice in the 2nd, base hit by Concepcion got one in, a wild pitch the other. He popped Larkin up to leave the bases loaded. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Go back inside with a fastball.
Turned on that bad boy pretty well.
He does unbelievable. You know, he's got that jackknife to get away from it because you know the pitchers want to throw up and into him. But he makes him look like they're not getting it in. I don't know if they get hollered at when they get to the dugout, but he's able to get back so quickly and so easily. Like that. Yep. I mean, he just slides back. He looks like he moonwalks back, you know?
That's pretty good. Yeah, I like that.
Thank you.
That's an excellent descriptive way of putting Eric Davis's feet movement.
There's a moonwalk. Oh!
That's a moon shot right there. The only problem is it's foul.
Well, they tried inside, and then they tried outside.
Yep.
And you see those wrists? You know, the old-timers game, and I appreciate you bringing that picture.
Well, I
felt
that
Hall of Shame with that. This is maybe the worst, ugliest swing, and that's one reason a lot of guys don't play in old-timers games because they take pictures of them swinging with their eyes closed.
It's in color too. That's what I like. That's it.
But they saw Hank Aaron, and they said, you know, he's still got those wrists. And then I played in the golf tournament. He was down there, and they were talking about his golf swing. And they said, you still can't see the head of the club go through the ball.
Full count. I don't think you could blame Bob Kipper if he's afraid to throw Davis a strike after the 2 rockets that he has hit foul in this particular at-bat.
But he doesn't throw him a fastball. I think it will come down sometime tonight.
It just landed after ricocheting off the upper deck. That's a big souvenir there. A foul ball off Eric Davis's bat. Whoa, nice play by Jim Morrison.
And good hustle by Eric Davis. 2 of the Reds' home games during the next homestand will be nationally televised, necessitating a change in the starting time. The game with the Cardinals on Monday, June the 1st, now that's Monday, will now start at 8:05 instead of 7:35. The game with the Dodgers next Saturday, that's June the 6th, has been moved from 7:05 to 3:20 p.m. So you want to write that down now and tell your friends as well, because I know some people have given away tickets and everybody wants to see the Dodgers. Yep. So make sure you come in and see it. And of course at 3:20 p.m. on Saturday, that's because of NBC's nationally televised game instead of 7:05, and we're on ABC on Monday.
2-0 the count on Dave Parker, and we'll be right back here tomorrow night and also on Sunday afternoon to bring you the televised action of the Reds and the Pirates this entire series on the Reds Television Network. Parker 3-0.
We also want to say hello to WLWT-TV in Palm Bay, Florida. Tuning us in tonight and tomorrow night, General Manager Bill Varecka, Sales Manager David Stroud. And of course, lest we forget, Wilma Schrader's down there. She's the promotion manager. We want to welcome them, and of course all the fine folks around our Reds television network.
Well, there's a parasailer. Jam Parker with that pitch. And Dave is 0 for 2 on the night. And they're 2 down here in the 3rd inning.
I like that. Parasailing. He said, I got high on St. Petersburg Beach, and it was because he went up in a parasail. That's about as high as I'd want to ever get. I'm going to mess with that other stuff.
Here's Buddy Bell. Led off the 2nd with a walk and scored a run. A completed line on Pat Basillo. 1 in the 3rd innings. He allowed 4 runs earned on 5 hits, walked a batter, and struck out 1. Well, the Pirates beat the Reds a grand total of twice in 1986 in 12 tries. They have already gone 1 better than that as a result of the 3-game sweep at Riverfront last weekend, and they're leading tonight 4-3. The throw by Belliard. Bob Kipper has retired the Reds in order. 3 up, 3 down. We're in the middle of inning number 3. And the Pirates are a run up. Johnny Bench. I'm Marty Brenneman, and we are set to take a look at the Pirate half of the third inning. Guy Hoffman, who was forced to come on in relief of starter Pat Basillo in the second when the Pirates scored 3 times to take the lead. He'll be going to work on Jimmy Morrison, and there's a Pirate parrot. And that, on this sultry May the 29th evening, is our best definition of hot. That's what that young man is inside that costume. He's been one of the pretty good mascots around the National League in the last few years. Morrison got him started in the last inning with a base hit into left center field, picked up a stolen base, and came in to score the first of that 3. Not well enough. 1 out.
They're going to figure out he's a first ball fastball hitter pretty soon.
Sometimes it takes a while, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It's amazing what happens. First ball fastball, and you start throwing it, and he'll start jumping on it. Of course, next inning.
There's my pal. Joe Nuxall on the right, Andy McWilliams on the left. Giving the listeners all the details on the Reds Radio Network, and Big Joe will be over here to join Johnny when we go to the 4th inning. R.J. Reynolds a walk in the second. Whoa, nice play by Hoffman. That's in self-defense.
Toughest play for the pitcher is trying to follow through and stay on balance. You can see him land right over the top of his right foot, and he kept himself on balance. And after he caught it, then he had to find some new balance.
So Hoffman trying to do here what Bob Kipper did in the top of the inning with 2 out. Mike LaValliere a base hit and a run scored. Hike that batting average up now to .326. He has far exceeded all expectations. 1-1.
Looks like he's got a telephone pole up there. He's only 5'9", and most of the hitters of today seem like they're using 33.5, 34-inch bats, and I like the idea this kid carries a little war wagon up there with him. I'm not afraid to swing it. He's going to be a contact hitter. He's not going to hit home runs. I mean, 1 or 2 home runs might be, well, 3 at the most. But it's a joke now around the Pirate clubhouse and around the batting cage, and he's the ringleader of it about swinging for home runs.
Now, when they made the deal, and he was included in it from the Cardinals, their original plan was to platoon him with Junior Ortiz, but he proved early on in the year it didn't make a whole lot of difference to him who was out there, right-hander or left-hander, and that's the reason that Mike LaValliere plays no matter what. Two out, nobody on. Bottom of the third, and the Pirates in front 4-3. LaValliere trying to keep the inning alive for that man, shortstop Rafael Belliard. Hoffman brings it up there. And it is a full count of 3-2.
Again.
Yes, sir. You throw it, he'll hit it. It really doesn't make a whole lot of difference. Pirates now with 6 hits on the night, and that's their first hit off of Guy Hoffman as he faces Belliard, who singled up the middle and knocked in a run in the second. 6 hits for Pittsburgh, 3 runs, 3 hits for Cincinnati. And that should wrap up the inning, and it does. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. We are a third of the way home in this series opener. Pittsburgh 4, Cincinnati 3.
Top of the 4th inning here in Pittsburgh. The Pirates leading the Reds 4-3, and Joe, not too good of an outing for Pat Pasillo, and Bob Kipper still on the mound, but Brian Fisher is starting to warm up.
Well, I thought Pat made a couple of good pitches that were hit, John, to be very honest, but no, he wasn't near like his outing in Riverfront, but only you look at that bases loaded situation. Guy Hoffman did a heck of a job.
He really did.
I'll tell you, that's pretty good pressure.
There you see Kipper right there, and I may be wrong. I said that was Brian Fisher warming up out there, and the longer I looked at that motion's Bob Walk. I've seen that motion before. I assumed that Leland was just going to go with Fisher, but here's Bo to lead off for the 4th inning. Oh, popped up to first baseman Sid Bream in the 2nd inning when the Reds came up with 2 runs. They take a 3-1 lead, and now Kipper working again, and this time inside, fouled out of play. How much different is it, Joe, for Pat, because he's facing the same team just that quickly to adjust to them, or in the back of his mind is he thinking, well, they know me now?
Well, I would think that is a little bit of it, but yet with Pat's stuff, I think it's good enough that if he's pitching his game, it really makes no difference, because Pat in the game in Cincinnati was making good pitches, good location, and there was a couple of base hits in that inning that I thought were excellent pitches, but as they say, if they get base hits off them, they're not too good.
Well, he almost barehanded a couple of them. They went right past him. In fact, 3 of the hits went right through him, and not that he could make the play on them. If they were hit right like Hoffman's balls, who just fielded 2 in the last inning, it may have made a heck of a difference for Pat. Kipper works with a ball and 2 strikes and a good breaking ball on the inside front of the plate, and boom. Here comes strikeout victim number 2 for Bob Kipper. Caught him looking. And Nick, who walked in the 2nd inning, one of 3 walks that have been given up, issued by Bob Kipper. And an off-speed pitch outside.
Bill Madlock, he says he'd like to get out of the National League. Over the other league, be a DH. How about that?
Well, he's going to have to prove to somebody he can stay healthy, Joe, if I'm going to trade for him.
I guess that's the reason he wants to get over there. He doesn't have to do anything but swing the bat.
Well, he's had problems in playing third base with the elbow and the arm problems he has. This probably would be a good move for him, and maybe for the Dodgers as well. A good fastball swung after a good cut by Asaski, and Nick, however, doesn't get it. That's about time. We'll be moving on. Put the show on the road, they say. Breaking ball in the middle of the plate, foul back. Nick to be followed in the lineup by David Concepcion. David with an RBI single in the 2nd inning. And no one in the bullpen warming up right now, so Hoffman will stay right there unless they happen to get 2 runners on, and then I'm sure they could get to work quickly. But he doesn't want to use his bullpen up this early in the game. Frank Williams would be the likely choice, Rob Murphy, but nobody down there doing much right now except trying to find a place that's cool. There you see Murphy saying, yeah, I remember hitting that way in high school. 2nd walk of the game for Nick Asaski. Get that on-base percentage, a 4th base on balls, and Bob Walk, I'm sure, is ready in the bullpen should Jim Leland decide to use him. It is a hot and humid night, and this game has really dragged on, Joe.
Well, it's had a pretty good pace.
For what? There comes Ray Miller out.
Now, if you were sitting on the lake somewhere with the wet line, and a good old bud at your side, now, be honest.
That sounds good, doesn't it?
Be honest, you would pay no more attention to time and a man to moon.
No, but I've got this tie on, Joe.
So have I. It's a good idea. I believe it'd be a good idea to loosen them.
I don't think they can bother anybody if we just happen to knock it down. You know, there was a guy named Bob Prince, who was a radio announcer and television announcer here for years, and he got in hot water because he got so hot one day he got down to his T-shirt, and that's all, except for his skivvies, his boxer shorts.
Wayne White did that.
Yeah, he stripped right down to his BVDs, man. He was cool.
He did it in Brooklyn one afternoon, and they took a shot at him, the Brooklyn television. New York television. Uh-oh, look out for the Bears.
Yeah, we got the sponsor for the U.S. Olympic team here. Just stepped down to our booth and then stepped out. Kipper's going to try to keep Asowski close at first as Concepcion stands in, hitting at 293. Well, a fairly decent crowd on hand. We're not used to seeing a lot of people here in Pittsburgh, but the new brand of baseball that they're playing is getting these people excited.
Well, they had I guess a tailgate party here today and passed out 7,500 free tickets from what we hear.
Well, that'll get them in the ballpark.
Those are the folks up there in the catbird seat, as Red Barber used to say.
The catbird. That's right. Heard that in a while. Davey on a hit and run. Men in first and second, lined into right field. He now is behind the count, 0 balls and a strike, and watches the fastball out over the plate. And Harry Wendelstedt calls ball 1. 1 ball and 1 strike. Pat Pasillo started for the Reds, and it's Guy Hoffman on the mound. And now we do see Rob Murphy. No, he faked me out. He doesn't have a glove on. He was just working on his follow-through. He's working on his hitting, his pitching, and everything. Ball lined over second base. That'll find the gap. See if they can cut it off. No, it's going for extra bases. Here's Asowski. He'll tie the ball game up, and Davey will stop at second with his second RBI of the game.
Here's a look at the pitch, and Davey really kind of inside out. See, that ball's inside and hit it well to right center, and does get through the gap and onto the fence. So Davey, an easy double, his 4th of the year and his 11th RBI, and we got an even up ball game at 4-4.
Well, we're exciting, that's for sure. This ball club has had a little problem scoring some runs of late. 4 runs on the board, 1 out here in the inning, and Guy Hoffman comes to the plate, man at second base, and doesn't have to worry about driving him in, but he'd sure like to, because he now is the pitcher of record, as Pat Pasillo is now off the hook. Walk still throwing in the bullpen, and whether it's to be in relief or whether he's just getting his work in, I don't know, but that's an awful lot of throwing, because he shouldn't take that long to get warm. Good play by Kipper. Ball right back to him, and if he had not picked that ball up, Belliard probably would have. He hit it hard, and a good play by Kipper.
Well, the momentum of Kipper's delivery taking him that way, and you can see there it's a very easy play for him. He looks Davey back and just flips it on to Sid Bream, and we've watched pitchers do it in that fashion, and it winds up down in the foul territory, and guys are still running. Namely, yours truly.
I wasn't going to mention that.
I admit it. I'm not hard to get along with.
Here's Tracy Jones, 1 for 1 on the night. Hit well in the left field. R.J. Reynolds to the wall. Gone. I told Marty, I said, watch out for the first pitch last time up, and he almost corkscrewed himself in the ground, and there he comes tromping around the bases, and there's Lamont and Leland watching Tracy Jones, who's running kind of funny coming in there.
And this bud's for old Trace. Look at him. He's kind of happy. Look at old Trace getting the glad hand. Here's a look at it. That looked like a pitch down and away the way he swung at that ball, but no doubt about it. It went into the first row of seats out in deep left field.
Marty said something about him really not. Ooh, good backhand play by Morrison. He got caught in between. He had nowhere else to go. That's it in the inning. But for the Reds, they come up with 3 runs to take the lead at 6-4. They did it on a couple of hits and a base on balls. We go to the bottom of the 4th with the Reds leading 6-4. Reds lead at 6-4 here in the bottom of the 4th inning, and one of the reasons that they went ahead and man out in the left field hit a big 2-run homer in the last inning, Tracy Jones. There you see Trace right there, and well, let's just take a look at this, and he really had to reach out and extend, and that's big shoulders. That's strength right there, and he knew it was coming, and look at this play. Look at this play. Wow! Oh! Yeah! On the rebound. Ball up for grabs, and you don't think he's not excited? He probably just showed it to Tracy and asked him if he would autograph it. John Cangelosi leads off for the Pittsburgh Pirates, and he'll bat for Bob Kipper. There's Brian Fisher down in the bullpen. We can see from here, and Cangelosi, don't let that 231 average fool you. He's over 500% at getting on base through walks. Walked 23 times up to this point. Well, he is acquired in the trade from Chicago White Sox, and Angelosi with a 531 on-base percentage and 23 base on balls, and he can run the bases as well. Also got a little pop as you see him get that top hand over and roll them wrists. Wow. He catch that on the fly, Joe?
I don't know. I don't think he looks a little smarter than that.
He's smarter than that. Okay. Tell you what, he's a proud young man right there, and there's a proud papa. Good to see him out to the ball games. Hoffman works with a breaking ball down, and the count evens at 2. Brian Fisher will come in to pitch for the Pittsburgh Pirates. A design that Jim Leland had before the game started. He hoped that Kipper could go 5, but that's not the case. Foul back at the plate. Three-game series here in Pittsburgh. 7 o'clock tomorrow, and what is it, 105 or 130, Joe, on Sunday?
135, I think.
135? Okay. We'll get that in the truck. I know they'll fire right at us. Fastball up, and the count runs full. Should know that since we're going to be here. We'll make sure you know it before we leave here, too. 1:35 will be game time, and there's Cangelosi, and that's why Leland sent him up there to get something started. Base on balls, and 6-4, 2 runs down. We saw runner take off Jim Morrison in the second inning when they trailed 3-1, and now with leadoff hitter Barry Bonds coming to plate, I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't send him again. Angelosi in the stolen base department. 9 out of 11. Let's see, Hoffman holding him for just a second, and I'm sure that Cangelosi has not seen much of Hoffman, so he'll give him a look over, and now Bo is going to go out to talk to Guy.
Well, it looks like Guy is dropping down just a bit and causing him to get up in the strike zone, and trying to give him a little breather right at the moment, but well, he's got something in his eye or not, but now the meeting breaks up. But sometimes you try to overdo it, and down you come, and problems pop up.
Bonds waits for the 1-0 pitch, and here it comes, another breaking ball, and that pitch might get some people moving around in the bullpen. I don't know. 6-4 lead. You hate to score runs and then go right back out there the next inning and see a team tie you up or go back ahead, and that's exactly what the Pirates did when they scored 3 in the second inning. Guy throws over to first, and Cangelosi back. Now John off first, 1 foot on the turf, and he's going to hold. The ball hit back up the middle, has to be played. Tough play for Barry Larkin. It'll go into center field, and Davis up with the ball quickly, and only the speed of Cangelosi gets him to third base. A little tough hop for Barry Larkin, and Davis wisely decides to get the ball back in the infield and back to Dave Concepcion.
It looked like Barry was there, but the ball hit in the dirt, it appeared, and really took off on Larkin, and you see it right there. And, off his glove and on into center field, but really a bad hop. So the Pirates, boy, they come storming back. There's Cangelosi at third, and of course at first base Barry Bonds, and here we go again.
Here we go again, and Barry Bonds, another threat to steal. He's 8 for 10. Pirates have been very successful in that program. And here's Andy Van Slyke. He's working on a perfect night. 1 for 1, a home run in the first inning that tied the ball game up after Eric Davis hit his 18th home run of the year and then walked in the second inning. Got another RBI. So 1 for 1 with 2 RBIs. Hit his 4th home run in the second inning. 310 career average versus the Reds. That's the kind of performance Andy has given up to this point. And I already mentioned earlier that Jim Leyland had a little talk with Andy about settling down and getting used to Pittsburgh, and he needed him to perform for him. Good pitch again on the outside part of the plate. Strike 2. Well, we've scored 10 runs here in the game so far, and there's Clutch It. Big sign out there called Hardball Country. That's what they're calling this here. It used to be the Lumber Company. Now it's Hardball Country. And there's the Cobra out there. Some of the Dave Parker fans in right field. Just to the right of Clutch It have put up the Cobra. There you see number 39. And just below that to the right is Hardball Country. That's what they're talking about here in Pittsburgh. We don't hit any hard balls right now. We're looking for a ground ball or a strikeout. No outs in the inning. Men at first and third, and swung at and fouled back on the screen. Guy you can see perspiring very heavily. Temperature around 87 or 88 today, Joe, and this was your kind of weather.
Love it, love it. What baseball's meant for, playing this kind of weather. Football and those other games played in cold weather.
Van Slyke with Bonds running. He throw down to second base in the dirt. Good play by Larkin to block it, but stolen base number 10 for, make that 9 for Barry Bonds. Runners at second and third now. A 2-ball, 2-strike count on Andy Van Slyke.
Van Slyke with Bonds with an excellent jump and a good play by Barry Larkin. Boy, that was a saver right there, although Concepcion was backing up the play, but really a good play by Barry Larkin.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Van Slyke with 2 RBIs already on the night. Looks at the breaking ball and just misses outside again. And Hoffey has just missed a couple of times, and I mean just by the smallest amount. Came in and walked Andy Van Slyke, which walked in a run with the bases loaded, and then got Johnny Ray with a breaking ball to strike him out. There you see Scotty Breeden trying to figure everything out. Tommy Helms looking on, leaning on the side of the dugout. Got the sign and ready to go to work. Full count and a breaking ball and not even close in the dirt. Well, that probably will create a little stirring in the bullpen, if anything does. Bases loaded and nobody out.
Scott Breeden on his way out once again to have a chat with Guy Hoffman. So the Reds get in front, and all of a sudden, here we go again. Well, let's see if it's Murph or it will be Rob Murphy to start throwing down on the Cincinnati bullpen. So the Reds one time led 3-1, and the Pirates went in front with 3 in their half of the second to make it a 4-3 game, and the Reds in fourth. There's a 3-run affair for the Reds, but the Pirates once again with the bases loaded, nobody out. Well, that's the situation. Hoffman came in the second inning with 1 out and walked Van Slyke to force it a run, and then struck out Johnny Ray and Sid Green. So here's Johnny Ray once again with the bases loaded.
Struck him out last time, and that's something very few people can do, is strike him out, much less strike him out twice in a game. Mike Krukow got him last year, as did Rick Mailer, I believe, and there's a fastball on the inside part of the plate to start it. Ball hit back to Hoffman. He'll go to home, and hopefully they can double Johnny Ray up at first. Nick Osowski is back, so he probably will have to go to second base and try to get the double play that way. Buddy Bell, even with the bag at third, has the option of going home or to second. Fly ball into center field, and Cangelosi may test him. Nope, they're going to respect that arm, and with good reason that they do. So, temporary breathing room. And that's all it is. Because here's Sid Bream. He struck Bream out after he struck out Johnny Ray. And he came in relief of Pasillo with the bases loaded, as Joe said. There you see the line score. Third inning, everybody took a rest. And here back in the fourth, everything's starting to turn around again. Green 0 for 2. Under the first baseman, Nick Ossowski, made a fine pickup and then struck out in the second inning. In fact, he ended the first and second innings with outs. He was the last man to bat in the inning for the Pirates, and, well, we'd like that once again.
And struck out on a 3-2 pitch, a bad breaking ball.
Really a bad breaking ball. He really got away with it. He's the leader in home runs for the Pirates. He has 8 on the year. And I'm sure another breaking ball, and there it is, just a little off speed. Sort of changes speeds on that breaking ball to get that different break, doesn't he, Joe?
There's a big breaking ball. That thing, look at it, starts on the inside and winds up outside, and oh, that's a tough one to cope with. You want to swing at it about 3 times. By the time you decide to swing at it, it's gone. But you've already taken the swing, so you whip.
It's like in that exhibition game, that old-timers game that don't mention it.
That's history.
That's history. All right, let's go right back here. Guy ahead of the count, no balls and 2 strikes, 1 out. We're in Pittsburgh. Joe Nuxall and Johnny Bench bringing you action, and you can see Barry Bonds there at second base, clapping, urging Sid Bream on. And now Hoffman has the sign. They're going to work outside again with a fastball. And of all things, he hits it down the left field line. He couldn't hit the breaking ball, so let's throw him the fastball.
Well, I think Bo wanted it more outside than that. And Bream, I think, he really hit a bad pitch. He was, let's look at it. Well, I don't know, but it was up a little bit. I don't think Bo wanted it quite there.
No, I don't think so either. But since he's been throwing that breaking ball and he wasn't hitting it with a bow door, I think at that pitch, wouldn't you want it inside, up and in or something?
Either up and in or bat away, but not where you can have a whack at it.
Well, I guess that's why he went out to talking, and Hoffman wanted to go right back to that breaking ball. There's that fastball they wanted. Well, he got the fastball, and he had to be thinking the back of a mind, well, he's going to throw that curveball now. I got to get ready, and he really threw a good live fastball right there. So, third strikeout for Hoffman, and 2 outs in the inning, and the bases are still loaded for Jim Morrison, who has picked on the first pitch both times tonight. Got a base hit in the second inning and flied out to center field in the third.
Now, Bo out to the mound, really a quick word with Guy and give him a little breather. This is a tough go of it. He gets one more here in Jim Morrison. That's a whale of a pitching job, to say the least.
Singled, stole a base, scored. That was in the second inning. And led off the third with a fly ball to Eric Davis. And see right now he's with the seam. So he's right on Giamatti. He's going to move it around a little bit. Okay, you're going to swing at the first pitch. Maybe we should put a little wrinkle in it. Rob Murphy, I guess, is, well, of course, it doesn't take him long to loosen up to begin with. Now just leaning on the rail, as all of our pitchers look like a bunch of crows out there on the line. Look like one of those country roads out there at home. Fastball hit towards Larkin. He'll go to first base, and he's out of the inning. Well, a good performance for Guy Hoffman. They get out with no runs. He walked a couple and gave up a base hit, but they do not score. Reds lead at 6-4. We go to the 5th. Reds lead at 6-4, and we want to tell you that Saturday, June the 6th, is Seal Test Beverage Cooler Day when the Reds meet the Dodgers at 3:20. Now, that's the change. It was 7:05. Now it's 3:20. There you see the good-looking cooler right there, and the first 15,000 fans in attendance. 16 and over will receive a free Reds beverage cooler, just perfect for your summer needs. So mark the date and new time for this new item. Beverage Cooler Day on Saturday, June the 6th. And the Reds and Dodgers at 3:20, thanks to Seal Test Ice Cream and a new pitcher on the mound.
And Brian Fisher, a right-hander, takes over here in the 5th inning. And for Fisher, this will be his 14th appearance of the year. He started 4 games, 1 complete game. That was against the Reds. Worked 37 innings, allowing 35 hits. Walked 18 and struck out 29. He went all the way against the Reds last Sunday at Riverfront. Game the Pirates won 7-2. He allowed 5 hits, struck out 5, and walked 2. And the Reds, of course, with the 2 runs. Fisher was very impressive.
Well, he's a very impressive kid, and breaking ball high makes it 2 balls and no strikes. Eric with a home run in the 1st inning, his 18th of the year, and of course that tied a National League record. Many to name, but Tony Perez did it in 70. Willie Mays before that, and Fisher now works with a fastball and just misses inside. Fisher, number 54 there. He started out the year, I think it was 36, wasn't he wearing? And said he saw himself on TV and it just didn't look right. So he said, I always had it, and misses inside with ball 4, and he didn't look like he even cared if he got it out over the plate. I think that was a purpose pitch, and I think that if anybody else, he probably would have hit him. But right now, he's going to find out what problems he's got when he does that. He's going to find Eric Davis off to the races. Well, you know, you got to pitch in, and you do that, but I don't think that he was just trying to work the inside corner there, Joe.
They had success against Eric at home, pitching him in fastballs, and he thought maybe Eric had the green light. You know what I mean?
He may have. He's got the green light right now, and it's a pitch out, and he may have him. Nope. Boy, he was flying. He was flying down through there because that was a quick pitch out, and LaValliere got it down there in a hurry, got in position, and fired a seed down there, and Belliard caught the ball in front of the plate if there was any one thing wrong.
Good pitch out, too, by Fisher, but Belliard up in front, as John said, but not in time. Number 20 for Eric in 23 tries.
Tell you
22.
what, I want to see that again if you can hold it up there, guys, in the truck, because you will see how far that LaValliere had to go out. If any one thing was wrong, he really went a long way. Ball fouled out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike. I don't know. I thought I noticed with Brian Fisher when he came into the dugout after warming up, he had a big brown spot on the upper part of his thigh, of his right thigh. And, you know, a guy like Etch there, that little smudge. Oh, maybe the foot when he kicks up. I thought he may be using like a pine tar as Parker goes in the hole, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
There it is.
I thought it was pine tar when I looked at it the first, but then when he takes that kick, did you see when he kicks up like that? Maybe that's just the heel. He might cut himself. Watch this kick when he comes back with his front foot.
Maybe you might have.
Ball hit down the right field line. Stays fair. It's extra bases. Eric Davis will score. Parker goes around first. Up with the ball is Van Slyke, and he one-hops it into Belliard, but an RBI double for Dave Parker. And they quieted some of the Boo Birds down, who came out specifically to see Dave Parker not do well, except for the Cobra country out there.
Here's a pitch down and in, and they went right after it and hit it hard. See, about 2 feet fair, bouncing around the corner. Van Slyke plays it pretty good out of the corner, but Parker coast into second with a double, and for Dave, his 10th double of the year and his 31st RBI.
Here's Buddy, 1 for 2, 0 for 1 on the night. Fastball just misses inside. For Eric Davis, that was run number 41 on the year. He leads the league in that category. Jack Clark's the only reason he doesn't lead the whole world in everything in the National League. Breaking ball good over for Fisher, and Bell evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike.
Clark driven in, what, 35 runs this month, something like that?
37, I think, with the 2 or 3 yesterday. I thought that Marty mentioned that. I thought he said 37. I thought it was 35, but Marty mentioned 37, and I have never known Marty to be wrong.
That's a whole bunch of... Oh, my pal, he's right on target. Looks nice tonight, huh?
There's Edie. Yeah, he does.
Yeah. Got his yellow shirt on. Death grip on that mic over there.
Fastball up and in, and the count evens at 2. I told Marty something about possibility of us not wearing ties on Sunday, which you voted for.
I vote for never wear a tie.
And Marty said, you guys do what you want. I always wear a tie.
I know it. He's amazing. 99 degrees.
I think he probably was born with a bib, though.
I don't know.
Ball into right center field, and Dave had to wait a second because Johnny Ray over in the line drive held him there. I don't think Dave's running well right now. I noticed before the game he had an ice pack on his leg, and of course the ball hit like that, it's hard to score, but Laura's talking to him, and he didn't run well the second on that double.
I think his knees been bothering him a little bit of late, John, and of course, as you mentioned on that particular ball Buddy hit, he had to break back toward the bag just to make sure he had Ray caught in the ball. So but I think that knee has been bothering him. He's been carrying ice on it quite a number of days now. Jimmy Leland.
Yeah, you hate to have him go out of the lineup too because he wants to play, but there was a big ice bag. I remember seeing him in the locker room on his right knee, and I guess he's going to get Bob Walk up again. That man, all he had to do is throw 2 pitches and him be warm.
He gets more throwing in the bullpen than anybody that I know of, but particularly I think he threw every day in Cincinnati, and I don't think he got in the ball game.
Brian Fisher on the mound. There you see Dave Parker, third base, and there's Buddy at first. No outs in the inning. Fisher came on a relief of Bob Kipper and gave up a walk to Eric Davis. He promptly stole second, scored on Davis's double, on Dave Parker's double, and they've moved to third base on the single by Bell, and here's Bo Diaz. Bo 0 for 2 on the night. Chance to pick up an RBI here. RBI number 25 could be. For Bo, who has homered 3 times. He's seen his average drop down to 232 after a really good April. Fisher at the belt. And swung and missed. Bo Diaz. I'm sure it's not a...
Listen, I'm going to tell you, see the Jonesy there?
Yeah.
You walk in our clubhouse an hour after the game, and I'll guarantee you he'll have it on you.
Well, a chopper to Belliard and able to get the runner at second, but Bo able to get down to first base, so give Bo Diaz an RBI on the fielder's choice. Parker comes in to score the 8th run of the game for the Reds. You think he likes that uniform, Joe?
He loves it. He loves it. Amazing, particularly at home. We'll sit back in the back here and talk for 45 minutes to an hour, and all of a sudden, here comes Trace. Still got his hat on and his uniform.
Negasowski walked twice in the game, so he's...
I think the first thing with Tracy, what you should do is take old Trace out and have him do a headlong slide in the second or somewhere to get him dirty.
Fastball out over the plate, hit in the air to Van Slyke, and
it just seems to turn him on.
2 outs in the inning, and Concepcion continues it for the Reds. Hoffman will follow. Davey only a 2 for 2 night going for him right now. Had an RBI single in the 2nd inning. Doubled in the 4th inning. So a lot of RBIs for a lot of people. 2 for Tracy, 2 for Eric, 1 for Dave Parker and Diaz and Concepcion. Bob Walk sits down, but he's throwing against the wall in the dugout. He can't stop throwing. Slider misses the outside part of the plate. Davey stands back in. Ball hit to left field. Base hit for Concepcion. He's working on a 3 for 3 night. And while Bo Diaz goes down to second base, and Davey gets to first base. Let's pause 5 seconds for stations to identify themselves on the Cincinnati Reds television network. Reds lead at 8-4 here. We're in Pittsburgh, top of the 5th inning. And coming out of the dugout, Terry Francona. He's going to go into hit, and I'm not really surprised, though, because Guy Hoffman really has found himself in a situation where he's had to face a lot of hitters.
Well, I noticed, John, that Guy did a couple of deep knee bends, and I don't know during that inning, and I don't know if he might have pulled something or not. We'll, of course, won't know until we get to the clubhouse, but whether he's injured himself or not. But of course, that takes Guy out of a winning situation, I think.
No, I don't think
not
so.
Not necessarily.
I think that once you get a leave after the second inning, I think they would probably see who pitched well, and they did a good job.
But if Murph comes on and shuts him down, you never can tell.
Never can. That's the option of the official scorer, and Francona stands in, hitting at 208. And Fisher tries a changeup down on the strike zone, and Pete trying to get some more runs. And I tell you, Hoffman is really sweating profusely on the mound. He used up a lot of energy, and a lot of base runners came to the plate against him. He got out of the second inning, a base-loaded situation. The ball hit off the fist. Rafael Belliard calls Jim Morrison out, and that'll do it for the Reds. But they come up with 2 runs. They do it with 3 hits. They came up with 3 hits. They leave a couple. We go to the bottom of the 5th. The Reds leading 8-4. Reds lead at 8-4. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning, and Sunday, June the 7th, marks the return of one of our most popular special dates. It's Gatorade Watch Day, when the Reds take on the Dodgers at 2:15. The first 15,000 fans in attendance, 16 and under, will receive a free Reds watch, and that's a digital watch too. Each 5-function watch features the Reds logo and shows the date and time. So don't forget it. It's Watch Day on Sunday, June the 7th, when the Reds meet the Dodgers thanks to Gatorade. I thought they'd show one anyway. There's Rob Murphy. He's come in relief of Hoffman, who relieved Pasillo.
Don Zettis probably hoping I get one. Been on me about my watch.
That's why I was laughing, because you were trying to show your watch, and it's not a Gatorade. In fact, it's not nearly that good. In fact, it's not even a digital.
Yeah, date's on there, though.
Time and date?
Day behind, but it's on there.
Here's him, 375 on the mound. That's the name of his company, anyway.
That's Murph, in his 24th appearance. You saw his numbers right there. He's worked 33 2/3 innings, 14 walks, and 33 strikeouts.
Working from the stretch, and he comes in to face R.J. Reynolds, Mike LaValliere, and Rafael Belliard. R.J. 0 for 1. He walked in the second inning. And swung at it, missed by Reynolds. Well, it's kind of cooled down a little bit here. A little breeze up there in the outfield. And the only thing hot right now are the Reds' bats. 8 hits, 8 runs. For the Pirates, 4 runs on 7 hits, and there's a chopper. Buddy's going to have to go, and only Buddy can do it, and he throws it away. Ball goes into the stands. Well, something you don't see too much. He had to hurry.
Now let's see if Buddy has a good grip on the ball. He charges it in bare hands, and let's see what he's going to have. A full hand. See how he's throwing it? Yep. He doesn't have a really good grip on it. And say one thing, if you're going to throw it, make it big time, and he did. But he doesn't like it one bit. And right now,
Joe's over there. He might have thrown across his body and twisted that back. You see Joe coming back to the...
Well, I think it might be his hamstring. John.
Yeah, exactly. That's why he's getting a little jogging in. And there you see Joe reporting in to Pete. And Buddy will tell him that he can play or not. He's not even looking in right now. He's saying I'm out here. And just that quickly, Murphy works towards LaValliere and a little chopper to first base that Nick handles very easily. only the second error of the year for Buddy Bell, and we saw the other one too on Reds television down in Houston. And Buddy probably, this is my guess, but he'll try to stay in there, but I'm sure that at the end of this inning he'll stay in and play defense, and you might see him come out. But we're a little short on infielders. Ronnie back in Cincinnati because of the death of his father, Howard. Of course, we've said that, mentioned that before. We want to send
Howard Hook,
our very best to that family. He was proud of Ronnie, and Ronnie was lucky to have such a good man. Fouled off into the right field seats. Belliard, he's, well, 1 for 2 on the evening. R.J. Reynolds moves to third base on the ground out. And Belliard trying to pick up another RBI. And a good block by Bo Diaz. Belliard got an RBI in the second inning when the Pirates strung together 4 hits and had 2 base on balls and only scored 3 runs. It sure could have been a lot more, but they were just going 1 base at a time. Run to second, they'd run to third and stop, and next base hit, they'd run home and stop, and the next guy hit off the end of the bat at Concepcion. He'll field, he has to hurry, got him. Run scores, though, and Belliard picks up his second RBI of the game. Fielder's choice. No, that's not a fielder's choice. That's just a total pit put out. 4-3, and 8-5 now is the score as Brian Fisher stands in his first at bat of the game. Brian has 1 hit and 11 at bats. That's a home run. 3 runs, 3 RBIs, and would happen, I think, very close to us, Joe.
Yeah, and 1 hit in a career.
The night before, Rick Ruschel had hit 1. There's a ball. This may be his second hit of his career. Well, when you hit well off of a team, you just like to face it, you know?
That's right.
Well, you've said it too many times, Joe. If you swing the bat, you're dangerous.
That's exactly right. You never know what might happen. Here it is, a chopper. It hit the dirt, and the next bounce is in the second base sliding area.
So an unearned run given up so far by Murphy is Barry Bonds, who's working on a 2-for-3 night. Flied to center, single for an RBI, and then single again in the 4th. Timeout called by Bonds, and Harry Wendelstedt jumped out there to stop Murphy, who goes into that stretch and sort of looks down, and then by the time he looks up, he's ready to throw. You can see him looking at first, and then see that motion. Ball down. 1 ball and no strikes. 2 outs here. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning. Rained a little bit early, just as before the game started. Umpires came out and they took the tarps away from the base areas. Didn't actually cover the field. And there were some threatening clouds, but they moved on away from here, and hopefully they'll stay away. Bond swings and misses at a pitch, and the ball count is 1-1. Good fastball. Swung on and missed again by Bonds. And Murphy trying to make short work of Barry. Barry's father, of course, Bobby Bonds, coach up at Cleveland. He's the hitting instructor up there. And another proud father. Ooh, good breaking ball outside.
I talked to Barry in Cincinnati, and he was talking about his dad's bat. You know, Bobby swung a heavy bat. About 38 ounces. I asked,
about 36 inches long or 37 inches.
Well,
struck him out. So the Pirates come up with a run. They do it with a hit. Didn't involve the scoring at all. They pick up 1 run. They close the gap to 8-5. We go to the 6th. There you see the score, 8-5, with the Reds leading top of the 6th, and hopefully there are fans. And of course this man right here hopes they aren't going against him, and so far they haven't gone against Tracy Jones as he leads off. working on a 2-for-2 night. Single in the first, walked in the second, and the 2-run homer in the fourth. His 5th of the year, and sinker down and in. And there's a fastball out over the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. Tracy waiting and tried to run the sinker down and into him and missed 2 balls and a strike.
The gentleman that Fisher came over for, Rick Rhoden, has kind of got in the gear for the Yankees. He's, what, 6-3 now, and has won, what, 4 or 5 straight.
Yeah, won his 4th in a row last night to run his record to 6-3, and had a little bit of a problem in spring training.
Tell you, I always liked, you faced him, but in watching him pitch, I always liked him. He was a real competitor.
He was a Dodger pitcher, wasn't he?
He was a real competitor.
Ball in the air, and R.J. Reynolds drifts over. Barry Bonds just to back him up over there, and 1 out in the inning. That'll bring up Barry Larkin. Barry 0 for 3 already tonight. That's not the kind of collar you want to work.
See if you can get a shot of Buddy in the dugout.
Popped to short, popped to third, grounded to third, and average down to 221. And watches a high breaking ball right there in the eyeballs. And he went up there to take the first pitch, I would have to guess. Ball hit hard into left field. R.J. not able to get to it. It's going to go off the wall. Barry just kind of cruising around first into second base, and I guess he wasn't able to see the ball bounce off the wall, but a double for Barry Larkin. That's his 3rd of the year.
There's the pitch, and I don't know where you could see LaValliere giving the sign, and he kind of whirled his finger, and that meant he wanted him to sink the ball, but Barry jumped right on it. He put a little hurt on it.
So Barry in the scoring position. And here's Eric Davis. Eric 1 for 2, walked, hit a home run in the first inning, stole his 20th base in the 4th, and looks at a good fastball by Fisher. Those mentioned the fact that they did pitch Eric in fairly successfully. And the only way it's successful for Eric is if he swings the balls off the plate and they keep running them in. Well, that's an intense look right there.
A little bit of Ted Power there, isn't it?
Sure is. Well, he does a little spin around to check Larkin, and nobody there as Johnny Ray wasn't over. Outfield straight away. And I guess you could say not really deep. And Fisher misses up and in.
Take a
LaValliere out to talk to him.
See if you agree with us.
Well, there's Brian Fisher.
There's Ted.
There's Ted Power.
A little bit.
You're right. Yeah. They sure look alike when they're on the mound. That's the intensity level.
Ted's got a heavier beard.
Of course, Ted from Guthrie, Oklahoma, and they're raining a bottom out down there. They've actually had mandatory evacuation of Guthrie because of the rains. Ted from Guthrie, Oklahoma, that man right there, born in Honolulu, Hawaii, now lives in Aurora, Colorado. 6'4", 210 pounds with a big right-hander, and he works up and into Davis. Two balls and a strike. Parker waits on deck. He with an RBI double last time got him to 1 and 3, and Fisher looking in as LaValliere flashing a different set of signs. Wants the ball back inside. No, he's going to throw him the slider away. Boy, he's being really careful with him, and I guess that's just wise pitching. They're going to pitch like that to him. Dave gets hot behind him. Make life a lot easier in the Queen City. He checked the swing, and it's going to fall in there. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's not extra bases. Van Slyke up with it quickly. He had to rush the throw, and Eric Davis slides in, and boy, he turned it over, and that's got to be a double, doesn't it, Joe?
Absolutely. And John, that to me, now that you know, at the speed that Eric has, he should do that a lot. I mean, I realized that was a check swing, but when he left home plate, he was thinking double. You see the check swing there, and now the ball bouncing out to Van Slyke. But the thing is, Eric left home plate, and he was flying when he ran around first, and he's in there easily with the double. And for Eric, that's his 11th of the year.
Well, Parker is going to be walked intentionally, and a lot of fans here are not really excited about that. Another RBI for Eric. That's the third of the game for him, and that's RBI number 47. And Buddy Bell, who was scheduled to be on deck, now will stand down. Kurt Stillwell will come to the plate, as it looks right now. And, well, we guessed right. Buddy went out there, stayed out for defense, and I'm sure that he had just a little recurrence of that pulled hamstring. And so Buddy, not on the bench, but actually he's back inside and probably already getting treatment on that hamstring. Probably got some ice on it right now. And Harry Wendelstedt has been told by Pete Rose that Kurt Stillwell will come to the plate, and with men at first and second, number 11 will stand in there. Curtis, well, he's hitting .310 with 2 home runs, 17 RBIs, and when he was in that lineup, the Reds were 9-10 games over 500. This kid has really grown over the winter and really has done a great job.
Close your eyes. Tell me who's throwing in the bullpen.
Let me guess Bob Walk.
That's the only guess you get.
I didn't look. There he is.
Boy, got a rubber arm.
Fisher misses down and away, and Davis at second, Parker at first base. 9-5 lead for the Reds. They're in double digits in the hit column. And Fisher will work back to Kurt. Fastball caught the outside part of the plate for a strike, and the count evens at 1 ball on a strike. Well, there's not too many things he should be able to work on out there. I mean, he should have worked on everything by now. Just give me the ball, coach. Ball inside part of the plate, and he fought it off down the left field line. Belliard made it look fairly easy, and I would think that R.J. Reynolds standing there probably would have had an easier play than that, but Belliard called early, and Stillwell becomes the second out in the inning. Back-to-back doubles by Larkin and Eric Davis, giving the Reds their 9th run of the game, and Bo Diaz hitting at .231, 3 home runs. He got an RBI last time on the ground out to Johnny Ray. Bo stands in. There's Eric, you see, right over his helmet towards second base, and Fisher misses outside with a breaking ball. Spin move by Fisher, and LaValliere telling him make sure that he keeps him close. Parker at first. He's got a huge lead too. They're trying to keep him close, and nobody goes, and Bo fouls it down the left field line. Gloved by that young man right there. Got him a red hat, doesn't he? Got his blue baseball top on. Got his red. Yeah, there's a couple other guys sitting there. Yeah, they came over to see Eric and company. I'm sure a lot of other people came out to see Eric and Dave Parker. And, of course, this ball club here at Pittsburgh that's rejuvenated a lot of interest. Ball fouled back, and Bo would like to have that pitch back. Livable cities in America right here, Joe.
That's true. I mean, when we look back first coming here and the job they have done, it's really fantastic. downtown Pittsburgh, boy, it used to be terrible.
Ball grounded, foul. And Eric Davis and Dave Parker were off to the races, and Bo made contact, and it is just foul. And R.J. Reynolds didn't like what the ball looked like, so he just fired it up in the left field seats.
They put up some very impressive buildings in downtown Pittsburgh over the years, and well, I don't know, about the most livable city, they say so. So what can you say? I like Cincinnati myself.
Up there in all those suburbs too, up in the northern part.
Fairfield, Hamilton.
We got Fergie here. Fergie, what's the update on Buddy Bell?
Well, he just re-aggravated that left hamstring. When he came in to field that ball by Reynolds, he got all the weight over on the wrong leg for the throw, and it just he fell it again, and they wanted to get him out of there. And we really won't know anything until tomorrow. Larry said we checks him tomorrow and see how it reacts.
All right, Jim Ferguson, Vice President in charge of publicity, giving us that update. What we suspected. Will it reach the seats? Yes, just a couple of rows back in there. Sid Bream not able to get over there. Jim Ferguson keeping an update there. Joanne and Julie always listen in for that. Julie works for one of our sponsors, Delta Airlines. Gets you there with care. And she's working a night shift. Well, she flies though. She also has handled my fan mail for a long time. And when she has a day off, she is gone. She's been a Y in China, and there go the runners, and Bo hits it into left field. That will score Davis, and Parker will stop at second base, and RBI number 26 for Bo. You know, he really does a lot better when he just has to make contact, and there you see him trying to explain it to Tony.
Well, here's the pitch. It looked like a little sinking fastball, and Bo put the bat on it, and he's been having a bit of a tough time, but I'll guarantee you one thing, he'll come out of it. Maybe that's the start for him.
Sometimes those things do it, and they got him moving. Here's Saski. 0 for 1 on the evening, a couple of base on balls in the second and fourth, and he popped out the right fielder Andy Van Slyke in just the last inning. The Reds are sending some people to the plate. They're going to get some time, and Fisher would like to have had that call a strike, but he misses, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. Runners at first and second, 2 outs here as Nick stands in, hitting only $1.25. High 25. Ball hit down the right field line. Sid Bream will have a little bit of room here in foul territory, and that will end the inning for Brian Fisher. He gives up 3 hits. The Reds score a couple of runs. They've reached double digits in runs with 10 as they lead 10-5. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Reds lead at 10-5. We're in the bottom of the 6th, and Saturday, June the 13th, is the 2nd annual Equitable Old Timers game. It's a great day as a team of former National League stars take on a team of some of your favorite Reds prior to the 7:05 game with the Braves. Expected to play are such stars as Warren Spahn, Dick Allen, and Eddie Matthews, who will face off against old Jack Billingham. Cactus Jack's going to be there. Lee May, Don Gullett, and many others. The game starts at 5:40, so get here early and enjoy the fun and memories. Thanks to the folks at Equitable. And Joe, you're a prophet. Bill Matlock.
Going to be
put him on waivers.
Put him on waivers for his unconditional release, the Dodgers.
Right, they're hoping somebody picks him up and pays that salary. Only $60,000 though when they do that, Joe. I don't know how good a move that is.
I would think for what Bill hopes for, someone in the American League could use him.
All right, Van Slyke 1 for 1 on the evening. Home run, 2 base on balls. Johnny Ray to follow, and then Sid Bream. Reds lead at 10-5. 11 hits. They committed 1 error, and that was by Bell, who left the game. And Stillwell now in the bat in play, as he came in to bat for Bell. Now plays third base. Murphy in relief of Hoffman. Hoffman took over for Facillo after 1 1/3 innings. Hoffman pitched a couple 2 2/3 innings, gave up a couple of hits and no runs. Well, he pitched out of some games. He saw a bunch of base runners. Came on with the bases loaded in the 2nd inning and walked Van Slyke to give up a run, and then struck out Ray and Bream to end the inning. 9 men in all went to the plate for Pittsburgh. And the count 3-2 on Andy. Then in the 4th inning, once again left the bases loaded. There you see Johnny Ray from Shoto, Oklahoma. Still lives out there. Second baseman, and there's a ball hit well into right center. Eric Davis converges, and at the warning track, a couple of steps in front of the right field wall, the 375 marker. And Dave Parker wants to stand out there and talk about it a little bit with Eric.
He got there easy.
That's all. No problem.
Pretty good ways, but
They hit any ball in the ballpark that high, and I think he'd come and catch it from behind the plate.
That's right.
Here's Ray. He flied to center, struck out, and then flied to center. Batting at .270. Came over from Houston in the Phil Garner trade, and he watches the ball outside. Good fastball, but just missed outside, and 2 balls and no strikes. Well, they don't flash many scores up here, Joe. We'd like to give some, and by the time they do it in between innings, they never show them back up there again. We'll have to get somebody to run over and pick us up some scores. Sid Bream waits on deck. Well, they got a sledgehammer, Joe.
Yeah, they were using that in Cincy.
And Sid Bream, and of course you like lead bats, and well, I guess that's about much as you can get. Wonder how many of those guys ever used one of those.
What, sledgehammers?
Yeah.
I don't know.
See Jim Morrison.
They're not a lot of fun.
They're what?
They're not a lot of fun.
I've been working on the railroad. Oh, he jammed him good with a fastball on the inside corner, and it's it to Davey, and Davey up with it, and 2 quick outs in the inning. Well, if you were guessing, you would not think that he would try to run Murphy out there for the duration of this game, do you? Chicago and Atlanta, they're tied at 2 in the 5th inning. Sutcliffe going for his 8th win, trying to tie Saberhagen. Davis hit a home run, his 9th. Nobody on in the 2nd. And Griffey. Kenny hit his 6th. 2 quick balls to Sid Bream in the American League. Oakland leading New York 4-0. Canseco got his first with 1 on, and then hit one in the 1st with 1 on, his 6th. Milwaukee and Cleveland are tied at 2 in the 5th. Toronto has scored 3 runs to go up on California 3-1. They're in the 5th. Detroit, well, they're hot right now. There's a ball hit out towards Davey. That should do it. 3 up and 3 down. Short order for Rob Murphy. The Reds come to bat in the 7th inning with a 10-5 lead. It's the Reds over the Pirates, the top of the 7th inning. Brian Fisher on. Bob Kipper started, and Concepcion has raised his average up to 309, and that's with a 3-for-3 night. First pitch swinging, and pops it foul to Sid Bream. Single, a double, and another single, and a couple of RBIs for Davey, and he's now 3-for-4 on the evening, but a good night for David, filling in for Ronnie. I think I got him.
You'll get your 30-odd 6.
The thing is, I don't know, I'm so used to cicadas, and I see those little things. Oh, he tries to bunt one, and he does, and it's going to be a base hit for Rob Murphy.
I know that's his first. I know that.
You know that? You think he's going to ask for the ball?
There's the bunt. Not a bad bunt. Murph checks it out and said, well, I'll see you later. Let me see if I can get on down here and be there before the throw.
Well, sometimes just take a bite out of it. And there you see the ball coming in. And if we didn't see it, they just threw the ball in. And that's Murphy's.
Might be his first major league hit.
I guess it is. I thought he asked Terry Tate over there if he could get the ball. And I know he'll be bragging about that big hit to his grandkids.
Yeah, but he'll as the years go on, the bunt will be gone. There'll be a rope somewhere.
Well, Brian Fisher can tell a different story. He hit the home run the other night for his first major league hit. And now Murphy will not be held. Gets his lead at first base as Tracy Jones looks at a breaking ball outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Got him that time. So first major league hit for Rob Murphy. Ball hit in the gap in right center. Will it find room? Van Slyke can't get it. Murphy is going to just go 1 base at a time, and Tracy's smart enough not to outrun him, and Murph wasn't exactly sure, and I don't blame him, because that was a great effort by Van Slyke. And Tracy's looking over at Murphy and looking smiling.
A good effort by Andy Van Slyke, and he didn't miss that ball by all that much. And you can see Larry Bonds running it down against the fence, and so they're second and third with 1 out, and Clark with a chance to pick up a couple of RBIs. He is 1 of 3 that have not driven in a run tonight. Buddy Bell didn't, and Mickey Sasky hasn't. That should score Bert.
I don't know. I bet they don't run him. I bet they do now. I bet they wish they hadn't. Murphy's out at the plate, trying to score on a fly ball to right field, and Van Slyke with a good throw. And Murphy's worn out.
There's an excellent throw by Andy Van Slyke. He was awful deep. Now, I don't know whether Murph can't run or he has that much on the ball, but it's an easy out at the plate.
Score remains 10-5. Reds lead at 10-5. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning, and Rob Murphy, after trying to get some of the mud off of his uniform, got a bunt single. Boy, and there it is. That ball, it looks lopsided, Joe.
Yeah, look at right there's where he hit it. You see, that's where, look at Cal's showing us his changeup.
Burned it off.
Burned it right off of there, the Rawlings.
You know, when he gets thrown out, you got to question the decision to send him, because Van Slyke, one of the better arms in the outfield, and you know, Rob had just run to first. He just run to third, and he's out there in that sweaty. And boy, you talking about turning it loose.
But he was way out there, John. That's the thing, and he threw a BB in there. It's a good gamble.
You know, Harry takes a lot of pride in calling them out like that, doesn't he?
No, he loves it.
Like he said, you know, I'll show you.
I can call that.
It's just an easy call, and you're out.
And that's about the way it happened, too.
That's right. That's right. We're at the bottom of the 7th. Jim Morrison, who's been first ball hitting all night, takes a pitch on the outside part of the plate, about letter high for a strike. Morrison with a single, 3 trips, fly to center and grounded to short. Looks at an off-speed pitch away. Well, there they are. They're saying that the Reds won.
Announcing Bill Madlock's.
I think that's all in there. Well, the Sunday edition. Ball hit in the left field. Tracy Jones has to backpedal a couple of steps and makes the easy grab, and 1 out in the inning. RJ, 1 for 2. Walked and scored, and he grounded to the pitcher. And singled and scored again. And well, I was going to guess who might be warming up in the bullpen down there. It's Johnson. It's just recalled as of today from Vancouver. Right now it's RJ facing Rob, and Rob upstairs, and 3 of the pitches that he's thrown have been upstairs. And that may be because he's run the bases and out there for a little extended outing for Rob. Fastball on the outside part of the plate. Evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Reds have scored in 5 of the 7 innings. Got some crooked numbers on there. A change up, hit to Larkin. Larkin up with it over to Nick, and 2 outs in the inning. 1 run in the first, 2 in the second, 3 in the fourth, 2 in the fifth, 2 in the sixth. Actually, Pirates, after the second inning, led the Reds 4-1. Here's LaValliere, 2 for 3 on the night, and he's raised his average to 330, 11 RBIs and no home runs. Rob works with a breaking ball, just misses down and away. Hit in the air. Eric coasting in, you might say, and makes the easy grab. 1, 2, 3 innings, second inning in a row for that. And, oh, you're out of here. But you did good, Joe.
Tell the little guy hi.
Yeah, we'll tell the little guy hi, and that's how you get runs. The Reds lead it 10-5, and we go to the top of the 8th. Eric Davis swings and misses the first pitch, takes the second pitch for a called strike on the outside part of the plate, and well, they rushed you back and they rushed you in here, so I'm going to rush you right back in here too. Welcome back, Marty. We got the lead.
Thanks, Johnny. 10-5 indeed here in the 8th inning, and it's a ball and 2 strikes on Eric Davis. I got to tell you, you and Joe are really weak. I saw him sitting over there in the radio booth. I look at the monitor, and there you guys are making a big spectacle of loosening your neckties. There's a strikeout. Honest to goodness.
No, we were talking the fact that you are always neat, and that you were doing. We might not wear ties, and that you always wear a tie, and you look all right.
Well, what the heck can you do? You got to do something.
Well, I mean, you know, you can dress them out, but you can't necessarily take them out.
That old proverbial earrings on a hog, right? Dave Parker steps in as Davis strikes out. They walk Parker intentionally in the 6th inning. He's also had a double and knock in a run. Parker a 2-hit night, and number 13 for Cincinnati.
Marty, this might be a little faster turf than ours.
Yeah, I agree.
Because that ball right there, you know, I've seen a lot of shortstops be able to cut it over, and not that Johnny Ray has less range, but that ball just kept turning over. There you see it right. Oh, see how it just sort of lays down and then turns as it goes? And Johnny Ray looking at Sid Bream and say, where are you?
So Parker on, that brings up Kurt Stillwell, who pinch hit in the 6th inning for Buddy Bell and popped up. Did you guys wish Eric Davis a happy 25th birthday?
We did not.
Okay, gotta get that down on the record. He celebrated well tonight with a home run and a double, 3 runs scored, 2 RBIs. 2 balls and no strikes. There's number 44 celebrating number 25 with something cool to drink. Well, a night that has not gotten any cooler temperature-wise, I don't think, but the Reds bats, of course, have been equally as warm. Nice to see him have a big offensive night for a change. 2-1. And that's what you do when your ball club is down by a bunch. You run around the ballpark with your paper airplane. Running, and he'll come back.
Well, the RBIs have really been spread around, Marty.
They sure have. You got Jones with 2. Larkin has not had one tonight. Davis a couple. Parker 1. Diaz has driven in a couple. Concepcion has knocked in 2. The injury to Buddy Bell not good.
Well, we had Fergie come by a while ago, and of course they're going to be able to judge it a lot better tomorrow. I hope it's not serious. And of course, this man playing with a little bit of injury. And whether Ronnie comes back for the weekend remains to be seen.
Supposed to be back in tomorrow afternoon.
Is he?
With 2 balls and 2 strikes on Kurt Stillwell, 1 out with Parker. You saw Day now. He gets the lead again. I know you had the broken ankle. Did you ever have a hamstring pull?
I pulled a couple of groins and pulled a hamstring, and I just wrapped it and played with it. Didn't hurt my speed.
Ball 3. Full count on Stillwell. He said 2 RBIs for Bo Diaz. He's going to be back in a moment. Maybe with a chance to pick up another one, depending upon what Stillwell can do or not do about advancing Parker. Dave was running 3 pitches ago, and well, you have to think he's going to take off with this one. He's going. And ball 4.
See Jimmy Leland looking down at who he might get up and whether how long he will use Fisher. And this guy's right here has got the form out right here. He's trying to figure out now. That's the standings right there of the Australian Football League. And the thing about Fisher, he had to come in when his team was down 6-4, and I don't know that I would envy or relish that situation to have to come into a ball game. Good play. Oops. Booted.
He hung with him. I mean, he hung with him.
Oh, he had it right there, he said, and this guy acting like he made the play. Sit down.
Oh, the Parrot's in trouble.
Oh, Liberty. No? Oh, the Parrot was just looking for popcorn. He came up with that. That's a good play.
And the inning is over. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and a man left on base. We're in the middle of the 8th inning. The Reds would appear to be on their way to a series opening victory in Pittsburgh, leading the Pirates 10-5.
Reds in double digits and have doubled the Pirates as well, 10-5 on 14 hits. And we want to tell the fans that the new Reds gift shop at the Hyatt Regency Cincinnati is stacked with great new gift items and souvenirs. Come into our new expanded location, and you will be sure to find the right idea for that gift to your favorite Reds fan. You can also buy tickets to all upcoming Reds games while you are shopping. Come see us, the new Reds gift shop located in the lobby of the Hyatt Regency Hotel at 5th and Elm Streets downtown. And right now we can go in there, and we've got a new right fielder, Paul O'Neill, and also a new pitcher as Frank Williams comes in. There you see Paul O'Neill. He's gone into right field, and there you see Frankie in for only his 26th time of the season. For no record, he's 0-0, 2.90 ERA. They did let him stay around for 1 save. That was awful nice of him.
Well, Rob Murphy made his 26th appearance earlier. That's just been completed. And Frank Williams, Murphy making his 24th, and now Williams making his 26th of the season, as Johnny mentioned. And he and Ron Robinson went in to get tonight's play tied for second in the league in pitching appearances. Facing Rafael Belliard, down ball 1. And a call strike. Seems like the only time that these guys can be assured of not pitching is when the club has an off day.
I asked Robbie, I said, did you throw yesterday?
2 balls and a strike.
I know you're looking for something exciting there.
No, I wasn't excited. There's what I was looking for. Inside, ball 3. The man who leads the league in appearances, Kent DeColby, with 27. Robinson, Williams now with 26. Robbie 25. There's Robinson and McClendon, Franco, Coach Bruce Kim from left to right. He walked. Murphy pitched 3 innings in this ball game, gave up 2 hits and a run, struck out a batter.
Run was unearned, I believe, Marty. However, after the...
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, Reynolds was the one that chopped it. And they threw it away, and then they got LaValliere unassisted and Belliard on the ground out.
I know, but it was ruled a base hit and an error.
It what?
Oh, yeah. Base hit and an error.
Well, okay, I'll put
That's
the
why
error.
they got 9 hits up there.
I don't count them. I just mark them right now.
Bobby Bonilla pinch hitting, and he's down quickly, 2 strikes.
Hit and an error. Okay.
Infield single and a throwing error.
How did you rule it?
That's how I rule.
That's how you rule it. It was a tough play. I never even thought about it. Trying to get Murphy that unearned run.
I don't blame you. I would have too. Strike 3 call. See you later, Bob. So after walking the leadoff batter, Belliard, he strikes Bonilla out on 3 straight pitches and will go to work now on Barry Bonds, the Pirate leadoff batter.
Well, you wait around from... Probably got to the ballpark here about 4 o'clock and got to hit at 10. Go up and look at 3 quick ones and...
That's right.
And grab some pine.
It's the worst day in the world. Bonds has had 2 hits, raising his batting average to 261. Whoa. Hit number 10 for Pittsburgh. Barry Bonds making solid contact.
And fortunately, he didn't make it with Frank Williams because he just barely missed decapitating him. And I mean, kneecapitating him?
What?
Kneecapitating? Capitating?
You make the necessary adjustments. That's good.
That's a kneecapitation.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh.
It's not funny at the time when it's happening when it's headed back that way.
Saw Diaz out there talking to Williams before the replay. He was out there just helping Frank's heart to calm down. Give him a chance to regroup and now go to work on Andy Van Slyke with 2 on and 1 man out.
Yeah, and a big man for Frank. I would think that you're going to face him. If he gets him out, he'll stay around, but not before somebody starts to warm up. I'm talking about. They won't just. No one is doing that now, but the phone's going to be ringing very shortly. You can bet on that if something happens.
Ten to 6.
For that man right there, and Scotty goes out there, and while Scotty walks the mound, let's pause 5 seconds for stations to identify themselves on the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network.
You're watching the Indiana Sports Station, WLWT-TV, Channel 4.
10 to 6, the Reds lead the Pirates, but Pittsburgh has just scored on an RBI single by Andy Van Slyke. Scott Breeden still out there talking with Frank Williams as John Franco is up and throwing in the Reds bullpen down that left field line. The inning started when Belliard walked. Bonilla pinch hitting, struck out. But then Bonds shot one up the middle for a base hit, and Van Slyke singled sharply into right. Pittsburgh trailing by 4, and hopeful that Johnny Ray, who has been shut out tonight, can get it done against Williams. Strike to him.
That's a big lead over there for Van Slyke. He's got almost 2 feet on the carpet. No doubt that he wants to give him a chance to run here, and I would hope that is a one-way lead. for his benefit.
Well, he's a try leader on this ball club. Van Slyke is in stolen bases. He's had 9, along with Barry Bonds.
I'd like to see a quick throw over there. Thank you.
John Cangelosi, the other Pirate, with 9 steals. The count. Ooh, a little bit closer that time.
The other Robinson in the league that's always up there in saves and appearances warms up now for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Don Robinson. Don Robinson for the Pirates. Jeff Robinson for San Francisco. And of course, Ronnie over here with our ball club.
Retired only 1 batter. They have him on the corners.
Ooh, almost got it.
Sure did.
Man, Slyke with a break towards second. And, you know, you always say, well, why are they trying that stupid thing? Almost got it.
Wow. Foul ball. Parrott trying to get the crowd into the swing of things here. And of course, tonight this attendance figure of 26,835 represents the second largest crowd that they have had here at Three Rivers this season, exceeded only by the 52,000 plus on opening day. Good house for a Pirate franchise badly in need of more nights like this. 2 balls, 2 strikes. A long one in Pittsburgh tonight. Right at 3 hours. And still with an inning plus to go. Now we have seen Johnny Ray strike out not once but twice. He'll be replaced at the plate by first baseman Sid Bream.
Second strikeout in the inning for Frank Williams. And just kind of lead. Let's just hold them right here. 10-6 is enough. I mean, you almost start to get nervous and edgy now as they go in. Of course, you look down there and see Franco, you feel a lot more comfortable. But this ball club showing a lot of tenacity by not giving up. They've battled all night. And the Reds finally scoring some runs, but giving up runs.
Here's another hitter who has struggled through a rough evening, but has the capabilities with one swing of the bat to put your ball club right back in it, and Sid Bream.
0 for 4, and now Ray 0 for 5. That's 0 for 9 between your third and fourth hitters, and other players have chipped in with 11 hits.
That's all for Pittsburgh in the 8th inning, but they collect a run on a couple of hits. No errors, 2 left, and on we go to the 9th inning with the Reds in front by a score of 10-6. Well, we're in the top half of the 9th inning, and the Pirates have made a couple of changes. One of them over at first base, where Bobby Bonilla, who pinch hit in the last inning, remains in to play that spot. Sid Bream gets early time off, and a new arm on the mound for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Rookie right-hander Dave Johnson just joining the ball club today as they farmed out right-handed reliever Logan Easley to make room for Johnson. And he comes on to pitch in the 9th inning as he faces a bottom third, Nicky Saski, Dave Concepcion, and right fielder Paul O'Neill. walked twice and scored twice, and is 0 for 2 officially. Starts Sasaski out with a breaking ball and misses with it for ball 1. Fisher went 4 innings, allowed 9 hits and 4 runs earned. He walked 3 and struck out 1. Dave Johnson working the 9th inning, the 3rd Pirates pitcher. This Pittsburgh staff was a little bit overworked in Houston. So manager Jim Leland obviously feeling like his hands were tied as his ball club led briefly in the 2nd after scoring 3 times, only the Reds to come back with 3 in the 4th inning, 2 in the 5th, and 2 more in the 6th inning, and he stayed with Kipper for 4 and Fisher for 4. 2 and 2. That was not a cicada, was it?
No.
Okay.
May have been a junior cicada.
Maybe, yeah. In the prime of life. Two balls, 2 strikes. Top half of inning number 9, the Reds in front 10-6. And they're reading the sports page. I wonder if they're reading Bob Hertzel or Paul Meyer.
Pirates trade Almond. Oh, that was Almond. That's right. That was a picture of Billy. You see that about Madlock?
Yes, sir.
That away.
Now, Nick, 1 for 3 now with that base hit, and the Reds have their 15th knock. Team batting average has steadily been going down. They started play tonight at 265, so they're going to add a few points to that figure. And this man here hasn't hurt it any with 3 hits and 4 times up. Nice play by Bobby Bonilla, and all hands are safe. Now let's see how they score that one.
Fielder's choice, E3, I'm guessing.
Now let's see.
Davey's looking at that board. You
They
can bet
ruled
on
out a
that.
base
I'll guarantee you,
hit.
if you just watch him, he'll keep looking.
He sure will.
And he hit that ball well. That's a great play. And this is the problem when you don't play it. You try to rush once you make your play. That's a good play by Belliard, even to keep the ball in the infield and knock it down.
They credit Davey with an infield single. So he's 4 for 5, and now it's Paul O'Neill for the first time.
That's why he's now studying the signs. Otherwise, he'd be telling Tony over there what he thought of the scorekeeper.
Well, this one would just join all the rest of them in the National League.
I don't know how it's an infield single. He could have gone and tagged first.
I don't think he could have gotten up in time to do it.
How many times have you seen Davey run to first base?
He could have probably gotten up and tagged first. I guarantee you one thing, Davey will take it.
Oh, that's another 4-hit night. He's had at least one other one.
This is the second one of the year.
Yeah, that in Houston, I believe.
2 balls and a strike now on O'Neill batting for the first time. He replaced Parker in the bottom of the 8th in right field.
Houston on a Sunday afternoon, I believe it was. He got 4 hits. Maybe it was Saturday, but it was one of them.
Hits against the Astronomicals on a Sunday afternoon. 4 for 4 in that one, and knocked in 3 runs. Full count.
Paul, during batting practice, was rocketing balls up in those seats tonight, and I'm hoping that Mr. Johnson right here will have to come in with that fastball. Not want to face Tracy Jones.
No.
Pretty good pitch right there.
Now, Tracy Jones in a moment. We'll see if he cannot duplicate what Dave Concepcion has just pulled off, and that's the aforementioned 4-hit night. He's had 3.
Pretty good pitch again. The young man not giving in at all. You can call me Ray J. You can call me J. Just don't call me Johnson.
David Johnson. Runners are going on the previous pitch. Let's see if they'll start him on this one. They do, and they go back.
I wondered if Paul saw that airplane, because they went flying by, and as soon as he fouled it off, you could see him look over towards his right. There's a paper airplane that went right by his head and landed. That's lying right between first and home in foul territory, and it came cutting across from over the Reds dugout. A gentle little flight to it, about as smooth as our landing today as we came over.
On Delta Airlines, you should have.
Got us here. Oh, got us here with Kier. It didn't get us there. It got us here on time. Well, maybe a little late. That's all right. There was that U.S. airplane today that was out, lost a wheel coming over here, Marty.
Plane came in from Detroit. O'Neill really battling Dave Johnson. Runners go again, and another foul back. It's at 4 in a row now to keep the count at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Davey can use the exercise.
You better believe he can use the exercise. He won't get out of bed in the morning, though. Look at him. He's trying to tell him he's... And Tony, I'll guarantee you Tony's got a smile probably, too. And look at him right there. He said, come on, Roomie, run down there. There he is. He loves it.
2 on, none out, top of the 9th inning. The Reds lead by 4 and trying to get some more. And this time, Johnson with that bluff move to get Isaski back to second base. Again, the payoff pitch.
I don't count them, Marty.
It's 5 of them.
Well, gosh, it's only 10:16 here on the East Coast.
Yeah, we're 3 hours and 11 minutes into this bad boy.
But it's worth it, Marty. We're up at 10-6. We get a win here.
Absolutely.
We'll stay here all night if we have to.
Hey, far be it from me, pal. Well, O'Neill certainly earned that walk. Oh, Johnson wants a ruling from third base umpire Bob Davidson, and he gives it to him. So Tracy's up there with the bases loaded and nobody out.
Welcome to the big league.
Ray Miller's made more than just this trip to the mound tonight, believe me.
I had that insert. I can't find it. There it is down there.
Ray Miller, the pitching coach, rookie Dave Johnson, catcher Mike LaValliere. Johnson has given up singles to Nicky Saski and Dave Concepcion, and a walk to Paul O'Neill. Tracy Jones, all he's done is single, walk, hit a 2-run home run that right now would be the game-winning RBI. After they got him out on a fly to left in the 6th inning, he doubled into right center in the 7th. That batting average goes back up to .323. And I'll tell you one thing, he's going to be as aggressive as ever with this particular at-bat in light of what the situation is.
You don't think, yeah, I was going to ask, do you think he'll swing hard? He's not the most artful of, you know, his timing sometimes is very bad, Marty. You know, to swing that hard and, you know, and react like that is not so, yeah, it looks like a problem there for him, and especially the way Johnson is looking at him right now.
1-1. Well, he doesn't get cheated.
No, but he can create enemies that way.
Oh, yeah.
Dave Parker sometimes goes across there like that, but of course the Cobra is 6'5".
235.
Yeah, I don't think Jones is any more fearful though.
He's got a 4-hit night. And the Reds lead it 11-6. Davey took that wide turn at third base, and we already saw what Andy Van Slyke can do when he decides to really turn one loose, as he did in the last inning. So a bloop single by Jones for his 4th hit and his 3rd RBI, and the Reds lead 11-6. Still nobody out.
Van Slyke had already given that run up, though. He started to throw the ball to second base, and I guess Billy DeMar learned his lesson with Van Slyke. Smiley gets up and warms up now for the Pirates, and they're going to run a few people out there.
Strike is called to Barry Larkin. Lark's had 1 hit, a double down the left field line in the 6th inning. He's 1 for 5. It's a long night for Jimmy Leland. 3 straight losses in Houston, coming home for just this weekend series. They go back out to play Atlanta beginning on Monday.
He learned patience last year, though, Marty.
Yes, he
losing
did.
98 ball games, and he sees much better things for this ball club than, of course, last year, and flirting with the 500 mark right now. He knows that there are going to be some tough days. He's got to eliminate as many as you can.
Larkin out on strikes, and that brings Eric Davis up with 1 out. On his 25th birthday, he's had a couple of hits, a home run and a double. Officially 2 for 4, tack on a walk, a stolen base, his 20th of the year, and 3 runs scored, pushing his league-leading total up to 42. Salami right now would accomplish 2 things. It would allow him to set a new National League record for home runs in April and May, and would also set a new National League record for Grand Slam home runs in 1 month. He'll settle for a single. And a 4-run batted in night for Eric Davis. So not knowing what Jack Clark might be doing, if he has not driven in any runs tonight for his Cardinal team, Eric Davis has moved back into a tie for leadership in the National League in runs batted in.
All out over the plate and not thinking home run unless he gets the pitch. He just makes contact, and see Bonds just having to come in, and you see O'Neill scoring, have a hit right behind Davey, and Tracy going around the third, and there's Frankie, and Frankie trying to get in this hit parade.
Double play to end the inning. But in the ninth, the Reds score 3 times on 4 hits, no errors and 1 left, and at the end of 8.5, Cincinnati, a season's high 13 runs, and they lead by 7. A 3-run 9th inning, and the Reds now have scored more runs tonight than they have in any game so far this season. Previously, 12 runs they'd scored in 3 games. Tonight, 13-6 a lead as Frank Williams tries to end his first of 3 here in Pittsburgh.
Oakland leading New York 13-5. Cleveland over Milwaukee 8-6. The Tigers whopped up on whoever they were playing. They flashed that on the board for a second. Who was it? Tigers were playing Minnesota, I believe. They were. Beat them like 15-7.
They moved to within 5 games of New York tonight if the Yankees lose that game to Oakland, which you have to feel like they will.
Well, there's been some topsy-turvy turnarounds.
I'm telling you. You look at the way the Tigers are playing, and what about Baltimore? Baltimore,
they're
has
going
just
to
caught
3
fire.
if they're whipping up on Oakland. Not bad.
Jimmy Morrison 1 for 4, leading off the Pirate ninth inning. The Reds, in addition to scoring a season's high 13 runs, fall 1 hit short of equaling their 1-game high for the season. They have 18. Tomorrow night in game number 2, Bill Gullickson will try to pick up his 7th victory of the season against a young man who the Reds will be seeing for the first time, Dorn Taylor. 0-2. Taylor tomorrow and Dre back on Sunday, neither of whom pitched against the Reds in Cincinnati last weekend. Missing outside. Guy Hoffman would pick up the victory. Starter Bob Kipper would suffer the Pittsburgh loss. R.J. Reynolds waiting on deck.
Good effort here by Morrison. 1 for 4, as Marty mentioned. I'll tell you, there's a lot of difference in that 2 for 5 and that 1 for 5.
It's about 150 points difference.
How about 200?
1 for 4 is 250. 2 for 5 is 400.
450. I always add.
Oh,
Always add on.
Okay.
It's about 300 points difference, really. It's 150 you're losing and 150 you're gaining.
That's 300, without any question. He's going to have to settle for 200 on a 1 for 5 night, and the Reds are 2 outs away from a win.
Well, Mario, just to make it for your math simple, if you're 1 for 5, it's 200. If you're 2 for 5, it's 400. So that's the 200. See, he's 1 for 4 now, but I was planning on him either making an out or getting a hit.
He's 1 for 5 now.
That makes him 200.
Yeah.
If he'd have got a hit,
he'd have been 2 for 5, which is 400. There's 200 difference. R.J. Reynolds is 1 for 3.
Ashley, you shouldn't be up when we're figuring this high.
She's not. I can assure you of that. It's been a 4-pitcher night for the Reds. Pasillo, Hoffman, Murphy, and Williams. Pittsburgh has used Kipper, Fisher, and Johnson. And it's 2 strikes on Reynolds. So the Reds would be applying a little bit of pressure on the San Francisco Giants, who are probably just now getting underway out at Candlestick Park against Neil Heaton and the Montreal Expos. The Montreal win in that game, and the Reds would move back into a first-place tie. Two out. Here's Mike LaValliere. 2 hits and 4 times up. He's now batting at a very impressive .327. And that should wrap it up as Sasaski waves Williams off, and this one belongs to the Reds. In the 9th inning, Frank sets him down in order, and, well, the Reds offense comes to life big time in Pittsburgh tonight. 13 runs and 18 hits as the Reds roll over the Pirates 13-6. We'll be back right after this.